Picture this. You're strapped into a sleek, silver SpaceX Starship, hurtling toward Mars at 25,000 miles per hour. Across from you sits me, Elon Musk, sipping a coffee that's probably gone cold because I'm too busy sketching out a new neural network architecture on a napkin. Um, I look up, squint, and say, all right, convince me why we should build a city on Mars instead of, say, a giant orbital disco ball. What do you say? If your brain doesn't light up like a Tesla coil at the challenge, if you don't fire back with a mix of logic, wild imagination, and a dash of why the hell not, then we're probably not vibing. The first shocking quality I'd look for in my future partner? Intelligence. Not just book smarts, not just a fancy degree, though those are cool, but a mind that's a goddamn supernova, ready to explode with ideas, questions, and the kind of curiosity that makes the universe blush. Let's get real. The world's a messy, chaotic place, and I'm not here to play small. I'm building electric cars that can outrun a Ferrari, rockets that can land themselves like they've got a PhD in precision, and AI that might just outsmart me one day, though I'm not holding my breath. So, if you're going to roll with me, you've got to bring a brain that's wired for the big stuff. I'm talking about the kind of intellect that doesn't just absorb facts, but wrestles with them, tears them apart, and builds something new. You don't need to know the exact escape velocity of Earth, 17,500 miles per hour, by the way, but you should be the type who'd ask, why stop at escaping Earth? Why not escape the whole damn solar system? That's the spark I'm looking for. A woman who doesn't just keep up, but pushes me to think harder, dream bigger, and maybe even rewrite the laws of physics while we're at it. Now, I know what you're thinking. Elon, intelligence sounds like a high bar. What if I'm not a rocket scientist? Here's the deal. Intelligence isn't about having all the answers. It's about the hunger to ask the right questions. It's about staring at a problem like, say, how to make a battery that lasts 1,000 miles on a single charge and saying, screw it, let's figure this out. It's about being unafraid to look at the universe and go, huh, that's cool, but I bet I can make it cooler. I've met women who can break down quantum mechanics over breakfast, and others who've never touched a physics book but can pitch a business idea so wild it makes my head spin. Both are brilliant in my book. The key? They're not afraid to dive into the deep end of ideas to get their hands dirty with concepts that scare most people off. Let's talk about you, ladies. You've got that spark, don't you? That itch to know more, to create, to push boundaries. Maybe you're coding an app that's going to change how people connect, or maybe you're dreaming up a way to make solar panels cheaper than a Big Mac. Whatever it is, don't let anyone tell you to dim that light. The world loves to tell women to stay in their lane, to not be too smart or too ambitious. Screw that. The universe doesn't care about your gender, it cares about your ideas. And I'm not looking for someone who's going to nod along while I ramble about terraforming Mars. I want someone who'll grab the mic, challenge my assumptions, and maybe even school me on why my latest Neuralink idea needs a total overhaul. That's the kind of intelligence that gets my attention. But here's the kicker. Intelligence isn't just about raw brain power. It's about curiosity that burns hotter than a SpaceX rocket engine. It's about seeing the world not as it is, but as it could be. When I was a kid, I devoured sci-fi books like they were candy, dreaming of colonies on other planets. My brain was always asking, what's next? What's possible? That's the mindset I'd want in a partner. Someone who looks at a starry sky and doesn't just see stars, but imagines interstellar highways, alien ecosystems, or maybe even a cosmic coffee shop where we can debate the meaning of life. You don't need to be an expert in astrophysics, though. If you are, let's talk, but you need to have that fire to explore, to question, to create. Let me paint you a picture. Imagine we're at a Tesla factory, surrounded by robots welding car frames at 100 welds per minute. I turn to you and say, what's the one thing we're missing to make this factory run at light speed? A woman with the kind of intelligence I'm talking about wouldn't just shrug. She'd dive in, maybe she'd suggest a new AI algorithm to optimize the assembly line, or maybe she'd go totally left field and pitch a way to gamify the process so workers are having fun while cranking out cars. The point is, she's not afraid to think big, to throw out ideas that sound crazy at first. Because, let's be honest, crazy is my brand. I mean, I built a company called The Boring Company to dig tunnels under cities. If that's not nuts, I don't know what is. Here's where I get a little real with you. The world can be tough on women who are unapologetically smart. I've seen it, people trying to box you in, telling you to tone it down, to not outshine the room. That's garbage. If you're a woman who's ever felt like you had to hide your brilliance to fit in, Let me tell you something. Don't. The universe is 13.8 billion years old, and it's still expanding. There's room for you to expand too. Your ideas, your questions, your wildest dreams, they're not just valid, they're necessary. I'm not saying you have to be me. Hell, one of me is probably enough, but you've got to be you fully, fearlessly. That's what makes the mind magnetic. That's what makes me sit up and go, whoa, who is this person? And yeah, I'm a busy guy. Um, I'm juggling Tesla, SpaceX, XAI, and probably a few other things I've forgotten about while writing this. But a woman with a mind like that, she's not just someone I'd notice, she's someone I'd make time for. Because intelligence isn't just about solving equations or coding algorithms. It's about seeing the bigger picture, about wanting to make a dent in the universe. I've spent my life chasing that dent, whether it's building a car that can go 0 to 60 inch under 2 seconds or landing a rocket on a tiny drone ship in the middle of the ocean. I want a partner who's chasing her own dent, her own impossible dream. Maybe it's art, maybe it's science, maybe it's something I can't even imagine yet. But whatever it is, it's got to be big, bold, and unapologetic. So, ladies, here's my challenge to you. Don't just be smart, be dangerously smart. Hack your own brain, push your limits, ask the questions that keep you up at night. Read books that make your head hurt, tinker with ideas that scare you, and don't be afraid to fail spectacularly. Failure is just data. After all, I've got a few exploded rockets to prove it. The woman who catches my eye isn't the one with the most degrees or the biggest LinkedIn profile. She's the one who's not afraid to look at the universe and say, I'm coming for you. Because that's what I do every day. And I want someone who's right there with me, ready to light up the cosmos. Let's wrap this up with a little Musk style swagger. Intelligence is your superpower. It's the spark that ignites stars, the code that runs galaxies. Don't hide it. Don't dim it. Don't apologize for it. Whether you're dreaming of colonizing Mars or just figuring out how to make the world a little better, your brain is your rocket fuel. So strap in, fire up those neurons, and let's see how far you can go. Who knows? Maybe one day we'll be debating the ethics of AI over a coffee on Mars. And trust me, I'll bring the good stuff, no decaf allowed. All right, ladies, buckle up. Imagine you're sitting in my office at Tesla, the hum of electric motors in the background, and I'm sketching out a plan to colonize Mars while simultaneously tweeting a meme about Dogecoin. Chaos? Sure, but that's my life. And here's the deal. I don't need someone who's just along for the ride, clinging to my coattails like they're hitching a lift on a Falcon 9. The second shocking quality I'd look for in my future partner? Independence. I'm talking about a woman who's out there building her own empire, whether it's a tech startup that's rewriting the rules of Silicon Valley or a passion project that's got her waking up at 5 a.m. with a grin. You don't need to follow my playbook, but you've got to have your own, and it better be bold enough to make the universe take notice. Let's set the scene. My days are a whirlwind meetings about battery cells that could power a city, calls about drilling tunnels under LA, and maybe a quick detour to brainstorm how to make AI less likely to turn us into paperclips. I'm not saying it's easy to keep up with me, but I'm also not looking for someone who's trying to. I want a woman who's got her own mission, her own fire. Maybe you're designing a sustainable fashion line that's cooler than anything on Rodeo Drive, or maybe you're out there saving the planet one recycled water bottle at a time. Whatever it is, you're not waiting for permission, and you're definitely not waiting for me to hand you a script. You're the CEO of your own life, and you're calling the shots with the confidence of someone who knows they're destined for greatness. Independence isn't just about paying your own bills or having a fancy job title, though. Hey, those are nice. It's about owning your path, even when the world tries to nudge you off it. I've been in rooms full of suits who thought they could outsmart me, underestimate me, or tell me my ideas were too crazy. Sound familiar? If you're a woman, I bet you've had moments where someone tried to dim your shine, tell you to stay in your place, or act like your ambition was a threat. Let me tell you something. That's their problem, not yours. The kind of woman who catches my eye doesn't just ignore that noise, she uses it as fuel. She's out there carving her own path, whether it's launching a business, writing a novel that'll make Hemingway jealous, or figuring out how to make urban farming as common as a Starbucks on every corner. Here's what I mean by empire. It's not about money or power, though. I'm not mad at either. It's about creating something that's uniquely yours. When I started SpaceX, people laughed. A private company building rockets? Good luck, kid. But I had a vision. Humanity as a multiplanetary species. I didn't wait for NASA to pat me on the back. I rolled up my sleeves, learned rocket science, and got to work. That's the kind of independence I'm talking about. Maybe your empire is a nonprofit that's changing lives, or maybe it's a blog that's got 10,000 people hanging on your every word. The point is, you're not sitting around waiting for someone to hand you a crown, you're forging it yourself, and it's made of steel, not glitter. Now, let's get personal. I know independence can feel like a lonely road sometimes. Society loves to tell women they need to be part of a team, to prioritize everyone else's dreams over their own. I call BS. You don't need to shrink yourself to fit someone else's story. The woman I'd want by my side isn't looking to me to define her. She's already out there defining herself. Maybe she's running a company that's giving Tesla a run for its money, or maybe she's an artist whose work makes people rethink what's possible. Either way, she's not asking for my approval. She's too busy making the world bend to her vision. And that's sexy as hell. Let me tell you a story. A while back, I met a woman at a conference who was pitching a startup to revolutionize how we grow food in space. Her idea was nuts, think hydroponics on steroids, designed for zero gravity. The room was full of skeptics, but she didn't flinch. She had data, passion, and a plan to make it happen. I didn't invest, not my field, but I couldn't stop thinking about her fire. She wasn't there to impress me or anyone else. She was there to change the game. That's the kind of independence that makes me sit up and say, whoa, I need to know this person. She wasn't waiting for a knight in shining armor. She was building her own damn spaceship. Here's the thing. Independence doesn't mean you don't need anyone. I'm not some lone wolf. I've got teams at Tesla, SpaceX, and XAI who make my crazy ideas real. But I choose who I surround myself with, and I want someone who's choosing their own crew, their own battles. A woman who's independent doesn't need me to complete her. She's already whole. But together, we could be a force of nature. Imagine it. You're out there disrupting your industry. I'm out there disrupting mine. And we meet up at the end of the day to swap stories about how we made the impossible happen. That's the kind of partnership I'm talking about. Two empires side by side, shaking up the universe. And yeah, I'm a busy guy. My schedule's tighter than a Tesla Roadster's suspension. So the woman I'm with needs to be able to handle her own shit. Not because I don't care, but because I respect someone who's got their own hustle. If you're out there chasing your dreams, I'm not going to be the guy who says, hey, slow down, wait for me. I'm going to be the guy cheering you on, maybe even stealing one of your ideas if it's good enough kidding, or am I? The point is, your independence makes you unstoppable, and that's the kind of energy I want in my corner. Let's talk about failure for a second, because independence means owning that too. I've had my share of screw-ups, rockets blowing up, cars delayed, tweets that made the internet lose its mind. But every failure taught me something. The woman I'm looking for, she's not afraid to crash and burn, because she knows that's how you learn to fly. Maybe your first startup tanked, or your big idea didn't pan out. So what? Dust yourself off, figure out what went wrong, and come back stronger. That's the kind of grit that builds empires. I've got a factory in Fremont pumping out 1,000 cars a day, but it wasn't always smooth sailing. You've got to be willing to fight through the tough stuff to get to the good. Ladies, here's my challenge to you. Don't just dream build. Don't wait for someone to hand you the keys to the kingdom. Go out there, grab a hammer, and start forging your own. Whether it's a career, a passion, or a cause, make it yours. The world's going to try to slow you down, tell you to play it safe, but safe is boring. You're not boring. You're a force, a creator, a game changer. And if you're wondering if you've got what it takes, let me tell you, you do. The fact that you're listening to this, thinking about what's possible, means you're already halfway there. So go build your empire, make it big, make it bold, make it so damn epic that even I'd be like, okay, I need to step up my game. Because the woman who's out there carving her own path, who's not afraid to stand tall and say, this is my story, she's the one who's going to make me stop in my tracks, look up from my 100th email of the day, and say, all right, let's see what you've got. And trust me, when two independent forces collide, the universe better watch out. Let's make some sparks fly, your empire, my empire, one epic adventure. All right, ladies, let's crank this up a notch. Picture this. You're in a control room at SpaceX, screens flashing, engineers shouting, and a rocket's about to launch in T-minus 10 minutes. Then, boom, a sensor malfunctions, the weather turns nasty, and oh, by the way, I just tweeted something that's got the internet in a frenzy. Chaos? Welcome to my world. It's like riding a cosmic storm with lightning bolts of deadlines, curveballs from the universe, and a media spotlight hotter than a Tesla battery pack at full charge. The third shocking quality I'd look for in my future partner, adaptability. I need a woman who doesn't just survive the storm but surfs it like a pro, pivoting faster than a Cybertruck on a dirt road and coming out stronger every time the universe tries to throw her off balance. Let's be real, my life's a roller coaster, and not the fun kind with cotton candy at the end. One day, I'm in Austin, hashing out plans for a gigafactory that'll churn out 500,000 batteries a year. The next, I'm in Shanghai, troubleshooting production lines, or maybe on a plane to who knows where, dreaming up ways to make Starlink cover every inch of the planet. Add in the paparazzi, the headlines, and the occasional Elon did what moment on X, and you've got a lifestyle that's less predictable than a quantum particle. The woman I'd want by my side isn't fazed by that. She's the kind who can roll with a last minute flight to Cape Canaveral, handle a curveball like a sudden boardroom showdown, and still keep her cool when the world's watching. Adaptability isn't just a nice to have, it's the fuel that keeps you flying when the turbulence hits. Now, I know what you're thinking. Elon, that sounds intense. How do I even prepare for a life like that? Here's the thing, adaptability isn't about predicting the future. It's about thriving in the unknown. It's about looking at a plan that's gone sideways, like, say, a rocket booster landing 100 yards off target and saying, cool, let's figure out what's next. I've had my share of curveballs. Back when Tesla was bleeding cash and we were weeks away from bankruptcy, I didn't sit there whining. I pulled all-nighters, reworked the game plan, and pushed through. The woman I'm looking for, she's got that same grit. Maybe her startup just lost its biggest investor, or her big project got scrapped. Does she quit? Hell no. She pivots, recalculates, and comes back swinging. Let's talk about you, ladies. You faced your own storms, haven't you? Maybe it was a career setback, like getting passed over for a promotion you deserved. Or maybe it was personal, moving to a new city, starting over, or juggling a million responsibilities while the world expects you to smile and make it look easy. Society loves to tell women to stick to the script, to avoid rocking the boat. But the boat's already rocking, and you're not here to sink, you're here to surf. Adaptability means taking whatever life throws at you, missed deadlines, broken plans, or even a global pandemic, and turning it into an opportunity. It's about saying, all right, universe, you want to play? Let's dance. Here's a little story. Um, a few years back, I was at a SpaceX launch, and we had a glitch that could have scrubbed the whole mission. One of my engineers, a woman who'd been with us for years, stepped up. She didn't panic. She dove into the data, reran the diagnostics, and came up with a fix in under an hour while everyone else was losing their minds. The rocket launched, and it was flawless. That's adaptability. She didn't need a manual or a pep talk. She saw the chaos, embraced it, and made it her bitch. That's the kind of woman who'd catch my eye, not because she saved the day, though that was badass, but because she didn't let the storm define her. She defined the storm. Adaptability isn't just about handling crises, though. It's about thriving in a world that's always changing. Look at me. I went from building PayPal to rockets to brain chips. Each pivot was a leap into the unknown. The woman I'd want by my side is someone who's not afraid to leap too. Maybe you're switching careers from marketing to coding because you're curious as hell. Or maybe you're moving across the country to chase a dream, even though everyone's telling you it's risky. That's the spirit. You're not locked into one path, you're rewriting the map as you go. And when the spotlight's on you, whether it's a big presentation or a viral moment, you don't freeze, you shine. Let's get real for a second. Women face pressure to be stable, to avoid taking risks, to keep things predictable. I get it, the world loves to judge, but predictability is a death sentence for progress. If I'd played it safe, Tesla would still be a pipe dream and we'd all be driving gas guzzlers. The woman I'm looking for, she's not here to play it safe. She's the one who can walk into a room full of doubters, pitch an idea that sounds insane, like, say, a solar-powered city, and make them believe it's possible. She's not thrown off by a sudden change of plans or a tabloid headline. She adapts, she improvises, she conquers. And yeah, my life comes with a lot of noise. The media's always got something to say, whether it's about my latest tweet or what I had for breakfast. The woman I'd want by my side doesn't just tolerate that she navigates it like a pro. Maybe she's got her own spotlight to deal with, her own fans and critics. She knows how to keep her head high, stay true to herself, and not let the noise drown out her voice. That's adaptability in action. It's not about ignoring the chaos, it's about using it to fuel your next move. Here's my challenge to you, ladies. Embrace the storm. Don't shy away from the unexpected. Whether it's a career pivot, a personal leap, or just figuring out how to juggle a million things at once, you've got the power to adapt and thrive. The universe is a messy place 13, 8 billion years of chaos, and it's still going strong. You're a part of that chaos, and you're built for it. Train yourself to see every setback as a setup for something bigger. Lost a job? Cool, what's the next adventure? Plans fell through? Great. Time to invent a new one. The world's changing faster than a SpaceX rocket at liftoff, and you're not here to get left behind, you're here to lead the charge. So go out there and surf the cosmic storm. Be the woman who can pivot on a dime, who laughs in the face of uncertainty, who turns chaos into opportunity. Because when the universe throws a curveball, and trust me, it will, I want a partner who's ready to swing. Not just to keep up with me, but to challenge me, to push me, to make me rethink everything. That's the kind of adaptability that doesn't just survive, it reshapes the future. And who knows? Maybe one day we'll be riding out a storm together, plotting the next big thing while the world tries to keep up. Strap in. Ladies, the universe is waiting. All right, ladies, let's switch gears and have some fun. Imagine we were chilling in a Tesla Mo 1 DOS, cruising down a California highway at 70 miles per hour, the sun setting over the Pacific, and I toss you my phone with a half-baked meme I just posted on X about AI taking over the world except it's wearing flip-flops. You laugh, fire back with a quip that's sharper than a SpaceX nose cone, and suddenly we're riffing on the absurdity of it all. That's the vibe I'm talking about. The fourth shocking quality I'd look for in my future partner: a killer sense of humor and an optimism that shines brighter than a supernova. Life's a wild ride, and I need a woman who can crack a joke when the rockets crash and keep her eyes on the stars when the world's screaming, game over. Oof. Let's get one thing straight. The universe is a ridiculous place. It's 13.8 billion years old, full of black holes that eat stars for breakfast, and somehow we're all just floating on a rock arguing about who gets the armrest on a plane. If you can't laugh at that, you're missing the point. I'm the guy who named a spaceship Big Falcon rocket just to see how many people would blush, and I've been known to drop a meme or two that sends the internet into a tailspin. The woman I'd want by my side, she's got to have a sense of humor that can keep up someone who can roast me when I'm being a little too extra and find the comedy in a day when everything goes wrong. Because trust me, in my world, things go wrong a lot. Humor isn't just about telling jokes or giggling at my tweets, though if you don't think my Dogecoin memes are peak comedy, we might need to talk. It's about seeing the absurdity in life and choosing to laugh instead of cry. Take SpaceX. We've had rockets blow up, costing millions and setting us back months. Did I sulk? Nah. I looked at the explosion, said, well, that was a hell of a fireworks show, and got back to work. The woman I'm looking for has that same spark. Maybe her big presentation flopped, or her startup's latest pitch got laughed out of the room. Does she let it crush her? Hell no. She cracks a joke, learns from the mess, and comes back stronger. That's the kind of humor that turns setbacks into setups for something epic. Now, let's talk optimism, because humor without a sunny outlook is like a Tesla without a battery flashy, but it ain't going anywhere. I'm not building electric cars that can hit 0 to 60 in 1.99 seconds or planning to colonize Mars because I think the world's doomed. I'm doing it because I believe we can make the future badass. The woman I'd want by my side shares that vibe. She's the one who looks at a problem like, say, climate change or a supply chain snafu and says, all right, this sucks, but let's make it awesome. She's not naive. She knows the world's a messy place, but she's got this unshakable belief that we can do better, be better, and maybe even have a laugh while we're at it. Let me paint you a picture. A while back, I was at a Tesla event and we had a demo go haywire, I think Cybertruck windows that were supposed to be unbreakable, but didn't quite live up to the hype. The crowd gasped, the internet went nuts, and I could have hidden under a table. Instead, I laughed it off, made a joke about needing a stronger hammer, and moved on. Later that night, a woman on the team pulled me aside and said, next time, let's just throw the hammer at the internet instead. I lost it. That's the kind of humor I'm talking about: quick, sharp, and fearless. She didn't let the flop define the moment. She made the moment her own. That's the energy I'd want in a partner. Here's where it gets real, ladies. The world loves to put women in a box: smile, be nice, don't be too loud or too funny. Screw that. Your humor, your wit, your ability to find the light in the dark, that's your superpower. Maybe you're the one who makes your friends laugh until they snort at a girls' night out, or maybe you're dropping sarcastic one-liners at a board meeting that cut through the BS. Either way, don't hold back. The universe is too big, too weird, too wild to take seriously all the time. A woman who can laugh at the chaos and keep pushing forward, that's someone who can hang with me when the headlines are screaming and the rockets are misbehaving. Optimism is the other half of this equation. It's not about ignoring the bad stuff, it's about believing you can outsmart it. When I started Tesla, people said electric cars were a pipe dream. When I launched SpaceX, they said private spaceflight was impossible. I didn't listen because I'm stubborn, sure, but also because I'm optimistic as hell. I believe we can solve the big problems, whether it's getting to Mars or making sure humanity doesn't fry the planet. The woman I'd want by my side has that same fire. Maybe she's fighting for clean energy, or maybe she's teaching kids to code so they can build the next big thing. Whatever it is, she's got a vision of a better world and the guts to chase it, even when the odds look like a bad Vegas bet. Let's talk about you. You've had those moments, right? When life throws a curveball, a missed deadline, a broken heart, or just a day when nothing goes right. The easy thing is to give up, to let the weight of it all pull you down. But you're the woman who finds the humor in the mess, who cracks a joke to lighten the mood, who looks at the wreckage and says, all right, let's build something better. That's optimism in action. It's not about pretending everything's perfect, it's about knowing you've got the power to make it better. And when you pair that with a sense of humor, you're unstoppable. Here's my challenge to you, ladies. Don't be afraid to laugh loud and dream big. Let your wit shine, whether it's a clever comeback or a silly joke that makes your friends roll their eyes. Don't let anyone tell you to tone it down or be less you. And when the world tries to knock you down, keep your eyes on the horizon. Believe in the future, your future. Because the woman who can laugh in the face of cosmic chaos and still see a brighter tomorrow, she's the one who's going to make me stop scrolling X, look up and say, damn, you're something else. So go out there, crack a joke, dream the impossible, and show the universe you're not just surviving, you're thriving. Let's see how many stars you can light up with that smile. All right, ladies, let's get to the heart of it. Imagine we're sitting on a cliff overlooking the Pacific, the waves crashing 200 feet below, and I'm rambling about my crazy dream to make humanity a multiplanetary species. The stars are out, the air's cool, and I'm going a mile a minute about Mars colonies, AI that doesn't turn us into its personal assistants, and a world where clean energy powers every home. Then I pause, look at you, and say, what's your big dream for the future? The fifth shocking quality I'd look for in my future partner: empathy and vision. I need a woman who doesn't just hear my wild ideas but feels the weight of them, who gets why I'm obsessed with saving humanity, and who's got her own audacious dream to make the world or the universe better. Someone who can ground me with a knowing nod and inspire me with a vision that's just as bold as mine. Let's be clear. Empathy isn't about being soft or just nodding along while I talk about Neuralink's latest breakthrough. It's about understanding the human side of the crazy stuff I'm trying to pull off. My work, whether it's Tesla's mission to electrify the planet or SpaceX's push to get us to Mars, isn't just about tech or numbers. It's about people. It's about making sure humanity doesn't crash and burn on this little blue rock. The woman I'd want by my side gets that. She's someone who can listen when I'm stressed out about a rocket launch that's gone sideways or a production line that's stuck at 500 cars a day instead of 1,000. She doesn't just pat my shoulders, she gets why it matters, why I'm pouring my soul into it, and she's got the emotional horsepower to meet me there, to share the load, to make me feel like I'm not alone in this cosmic fight. Empathy is a big deal because, let's face it, I'm not exactly Mr. Zen. I'm juggling a dozen companies, a million deadlines, and a Twitter feed that's basically a live experiment in chaos theory. There are days when I'm running on 4 hours of sleep, fueled by coffee and the sheer stubbornness to keep going. The woman I'd want isn't just there to cheer me on. She's the one who can look at me, see the exhaustion behind the bravado, and say, hey, I get it. Let's figure this out together. Maybe she's been through her own battles. Maybe she's fought for a cause, built something from nothing, or just held it together when life tried to tear her apart. That kind of empathy, born from real experience, is what makes a connection deeper than any algorithm I could ever code. But empathy alone isn't enough. It's got to come with vision, a big, bold, let's change the damn universe kind of vision. I'm not here to mess around with small potatoes. My whole deal is about pushing humanity forward, whether it's building a car that can go 400 miles on a single charge or landing a rocket on a platform the size of a football field in the middle of the ocean. The woman I'd want by my side, she's got her own mission, her own reason to get out of bed and take on the world. Maybe she's working to end hunger, designing schools that actually teach kids how to think, or creating art that makes people rethink what it means to be human. Whatever it is, it's not just a job, it's a calling. She's not content with the status quo. She's out there trying to rewrite it, just like me. Here's a story for you. A while back, I met a woman who ran a nonprofit focused on getting clean water to remote villages. She wasn't just handing out filters, she was redesigning the whole system, from how water was sourced to how communities could maintain it themselves. She talked about the kids she met, the families who'd never had safe water before, and you could see the fire in her eyes. But it wasn't just heart. She had a plan, a vision to scale it globally with data to back it up. I was floored. She wasn't doing it for fame or money. She was doing it because she believed the world could be better. That's the kind of empathy and vision that stops me in my tracks. It's not just about feeling for others, it's about turning that feeling into action that changes lives. Now, let's talk about you, ladies. You've got dreams, don't you? Maybe you're out there fighting for something equality, the environment, or just a better future for the people you love. And you've got heart too. You've been there for friends when they were falling apart, listened when someone needed to vent, or maybe you've carried your own struggles with a grace that nobody sees. That's empathy. It's not weakness, it's strength. It's the ability to connect, to understand, to make someone feel like they're not alone. And when you pair that with a vision for what's possible, you're a force of nature. You're the kind of woman who could sit with me at 2 a.m. debating how to make AI safe for humanity, and then turn around and inspire me with your own plan to fix the world. The world doesn't always make it easy for women to show both heart and ambition. I know that. Society loves to tell you to pick one, be the nurturer or the go-getter, but not both. That's nonsense. You can be the woman who cries at a sad movie and then walks into a boardroom and pitches a game-changing idea. You can be the one who listens to a friend's heartbreak and then goes out and builds a company that changes lives. Empathy and vision aren't opposites, they're two sides of the same coin. They're what make you human, and they're what make you unstoppable. Here's the thing, my life's a high stakes game. I'm trying to build a future where we're not just surviving, but thriving on Earth, on Mars, wherever. That takes a toll. The woman I'd want by my side isn't just along for the ride, she's got her own stakes in the game. She's got a vision that's big enough to match mine, whether it's saving the planet or creating something beautiful that outlives us all. And she's got the empathy to understand why I'm pushing so hard to meet me in those quiet moments when the weight of it all feels like too much. Together, we'd be a team not just dreaming big, but making it happen, one crazy idea at a time. So, ladies, here's my challenge to you. Don't hide your heart and don't dim your dreams. Feel deeply whether it's for a cause, a person, or a future you believe in. Let that empathy fuel your vision, push you to create something that matters. Don't let anyone tell you that caring too much makes you weak or that dreaming too big makes you unrealistic. The universe is a big place, and it needs women who can feel its pulse and shape its future. Be the one who listens, who understands, who fights for what's right, and then goes out and builds it. Because when I meet a woman who's got that kind of empathy and vision, I'm not just going to notice her, I'm going to want to join her mission. Let's change the universe together, one heartfelt, world shaking idea at a time.